وَفِي فَمِّي صَارِمٌ كَالسَّيْفِ مَأْثُورٌ. And my tongue is like a sword, which is cutting, which has an effect. So here, I'll just finish. What's the lesson from Sayyidina Hassan ibn Thabit? Society has a place for everybody. Society has a place for everybody. But we shut people out. We shut people out, and I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes this an event which makes us think about how we relate to people. And in Arsalan's presentation, he says these are the things you can do. Make dua. And the second one, make sure that people are involved. If you know somebody that has some needs, don't close them out. Help them to get to the mosque. Help them to be part of this, because everyone has a part. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless this gathering. We ask people to bless the mosque, because this is one of the mosques where has made a great effort, and also the brothers from Sacred Knowledge, who are not just people of knowledge but are people of practice, and that's why they've organized this. And I can't thank them enough, because they're doing something which is the true sunnah, which is helping people to deal with the situations. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. What time does Maghrib come in? Because there's a big difference between Glasgow and Birmingham, I believe. Just before 9:40, so we do have some time for questions and answers, inshallah. طيب. Do you recommend Muslims write plays and films portraying Muslims in a positive light? Going back to that issue of people's skills, if somebody comes into the deen with skills, or somebody develops skills, they should use them to the best of their ability. And Sayyidina Hassan ibn Thabit recognized when he became Muslim that poetry contains lies. And poetry is closer to lying. Whereas if plays and films are closer to lying, then we don't really have a part to play with them, because they don't serve the purpose. However, if they have fulfill the purpose, or they're within the purpose of the deen, among those things is giving a positive image of the Muslims, which is not lying, it's showing what Muslims really are. Because what we usually see among portrayals of Muslims is deception. I use the word deception rather than lies, is that what they do is they pick on particular Muslims, who they then use as an example to show this is what all Muslims are like. And if we can combat that by reflecting positive Muslims, one of the things that we weren't able to do in Arsalan's presentation, I just had something from the book that we're preparing about Imran's life, rahmatullah alayh. And in there, all we've tried to do is to portray the brilliance of this young man. And alhamdulillah, sitting also, we have several people here. Among them, Bilal, I've just asked him a couple of questions. And it's clear he's a man of knowledge. He's also a man of memorizing the whole Quran. And alhamdulillah, he and his cousin have just come from Leytonstone. And it's difficult enough just getting from Leytonstone across the city of London. Never mind getting here to Birmingham, just to attend a talk. Just to attend a talk. We have so much potential in our community. And if portraying this in plays and stories and whatever it is, then I think it's a big blessing. And I think as long as we're doing that, then it's worthwhile, and inshallah will be beneficial. Is that the only question? So I can retire. I can see people writing, so. I get confused. I was doing a dars last week, and I was in Glasgow, and of course in Glasgow, Maghrib comes in at 10:16. So I'm in the middle of the dars, and then I stop at about 9:10 and ask, what time is Maghrib in London? And they said 9:20. And so I'm getting confused now, because you say 9:35, and this is quite a big difference between the different cities, especially further north. The things that we're planning to do next, inshallah, on the website, we want to we're kind of in phase 2 of the website. The reason why the website is important to us is that the web is accessible to some people, it's not accessible to everybody. A lot of people, a lot of websites, for example, our good brother Umar, Uthman's brother has a website, Deanport, but it's almost impossible for a screen reader to read. So no, blind person has access to that website. And I just don't. Why? Why don't people just put a little more effort in to think about making it accessible? But on that website, inshallah, what we've got at the moment is a few stories of the Sahaba. And obviously, anybody can come on the website and anyone can read it. And it's not there just for blind people, it's there for everybody. But it's available and accessible for people who use screen readers. The Book of Assistance isn't going to just be for blind people. It's going to be there on the website for anybody to download. But we're doing it in a format which is accessible to. So that's one thing. The other thing is the book, The Life of Imran Sabir. The reason why that is because this particular young man was an absolutely brilliant young man. He grew up with many physical disabilities. He had only one lung. He had chronic asthma. He was blind. He was disabled, and he had the world against him. And alhamdulillah, this brother shone in everything that he did. He memorized 2.5 juz of Quran. He could hardly breathe, but he would you'd go to him, talk to him, and memorize. He'd memorize whatever you'd said. He struggled with fiqh. He wrote poetry. He was just really an absolutely brilliant, unbelievable person. And sometimes when I talk about it, I just think, was he real? And he was also very, very close to me. So when he passed away, I just sat there and wrote about him. And then when I realized that what I'd written was about blindness, about society, about how Muslims deal with each other, because they stopped. The passage that I wanted to read from the book was when he went to the mosque for the first time. His dad took him to the mosque, and the imam just says, I can't teach kids like that.